Hello everyone and welcome to the final ever Build Your Own R2D2. Right now, to commemorate this momentous occasion, I'd like to make a very long speech. Only joking, let's do it. Alright, we're here at 99, and in case you were thinking you put the issues with the wrong set of parts, well, I was just checking you were paying attention. I did that on purpose. Anyway, this is 99, and I think, as far as I know, all you got with 99, because I've had these sat around quite a while, is a little static bag with the circuit board for the head, or the dome. So we're going to be unwrapping this and installing it in the head. It's quite a pretty little box. I didn't say pretty, I said prissy, because you're not allowed anywhere near it. You're not allowed to touch it. Don't touch me! I should have that written on the circuit board, but maybe that wouldn't fit in amongst all the little tiny letters and numbers. Anyway, let me crack this open. Okay, first thing you had to do was remove the cover to expose its inner sanctum. That's not what it says in the instructions, I just like fancy words. And then you have to take one of the metal brackets that you got in a previous episode and attach it in this weird random way in one of the random holes in the bracket. So let me go and find the necessary screw, a silver one, and get that screwed in. Okay, this one does move about, but I'm not too concerned about that because there's another two screw holes there. So hopefully those will make it completely secure in there. So it won't matter that much about the fact that this one moves. And now we've got to stick the other one on at some kind of weird random angle. Something like that. I think that's right. It's at an angle. Looks quite random, so it must be right. Now I see it's not so random because it's going across there. So you have to put this underneath and then screw it in there and there, which is in fact the only 4 screw holes that you could possibly put it on. So, unless you wanted to put it the other way around, which would probably be impossible. Okay, and there it is. I actually left my camera running, which is very clever of me. Luckily I wasn't swearing at all, but there it is. It does seem to be a bit precarious, but I guess it's going to hang in there okay. Doesn't weigh a lot. So next you have to stick this ribbon cable into the pins at the side there, which is going to be quite weird to me because that bit looks too thick to be sticking a paper thin ribbon cable into, but I guess I'll see what happens. Okay, it's in there. The last time I worked with a ribbon cable was at the turn of the century when I was building my first PC, when I first learned how to do that. That was interesting. It's a very flimsy connection, and I only just realised that the very last thing that you had to do was to flip the clip back over so that it clipped it in. I thought you could just drop it down onto it and that would be it, because when I did that you couldn't pull it out, but then there was another step that you had to flip it back. So done that. And finally you have to lead the mic cable round to the corner of the board and stick it into that one there. And I just hope there's enough slack on this wire to do that. Oh, bingo. There is. Hope I haven't pulled it out of anything. There's enough slack. I just hope it's still plugged in the other end somewhere. And then I plug it in there. That is it. Part 99 complete. So there's only one left to do. Part 100. Let's go. We're getting some more of these little plugs. It's as if we're doing part 76 or something. Just an everyday standard pack. But no, this one is slightly different. It's the last one ever. These are not mentioned anywhere that I can see. Weird little metal spacer things. Don't know if anyone knows anything about those, but surely they wouldn't give you something this precise and not have you do anything with it. Who knows? Anyway, those to one side. Okay, first thing we're doing is taking the smallest cable and plugging that into the MCU board. Look at the technology, people. I'm trying to light it the best I can for you. You're taking the very first wire, the littlest wire, and you're plugging that into that little speaker socket right there, like so. Okay, this is where it gets a little bit unclear, because it's all very well saying take it underneath the frame, but if you look there, that is in no way clear whether it's on the outside of the pillar or the inside, because right at the critical point where you need to know, it's covered up by the frame. So I'm guessing and putting it around the outside of the pillar. Next, you're taking the cable with 5 holes, because the other one has 6, neither one with 5, and you're putting a label around that which is CIN, and you're putting it around the white plug. I don't know why I even differentiated, because you also need to put the same label by the red plug, and I hope I've done it the right way, because they're very snug in there. And then you're basically doing the exact same thing with the other plugs, with what I believe are the final 2 labels H out. So got to label these. And then you've got to do the same thing again with the other cable with H out around each end, which I believe are the final labels, cable labels. And then you have to take the cables and make sure the red one is next to the white one, and vice versa, the other end, of course. And then you have to cable tidy them. I'm not sure where they're going with this, but I'll soon find out. That's all cable tidied, if I can even get it in a frame. There you go. Now, I don't know why I got the body back out, because we're actually working on the head for this part. Don't you just love my lighting setup? But the important thing is that I can actually show you exactly where you need to plug into, which is that red socket there with the 6-pin plug. So let's plug this in. I should point out that that is H out that you've just plugged into there, and you need to take this other cable, which is CIN, and you're plugging that into the printed circuit board that was in 99, and that's going in the only available socket, that one. So you've got to be very careful when you plug it in, apparently not to touch the circuit board again. Okay, that's in, and now you have to strap this down with a cable tie to this metal arm there. So, like that, vaguely. Okay, this next part, I'm not sure I can adequately film it. I think that would suck all the joy out of actually doing it out. So basically what you're doing, you're taking the spindle, solid metal bar, I don't know why they called it a spindle, anyway, you're putting that into there, right down into the top, and then you're taking the head and you're lowering it onto the body. What I can tell you is that this black little plastic bracket was not so random after all, because when you feed the pillar from the head down here, you also feed the massive thick cable down this bit inside, so then that keeps it next to the center shaft. Okay, here's some more of my amazing lighting and my not so amazing blurry camera there, but the white socket, there you can see, coming into focus about now. No, not coming into focus. That one, there we go, is what you need to plug the white H out cable into, and just underneath, which you won't be able to see, is the red socket, which you could just see poking out there, and that's the last remaining red cable plugs into that. Okay, the head is on, and some people may have spotted that there was a wire coming out the middle here with a plug flaying about, and I was looking through part 100 and I didn't mention it anywhere until I realised, looking through 97 I think it was. That had to go down the side there. So that's plugged in now. Better late than never. So now the head is on, and one of the final stages is to put the other panel on, and then I believe the panel hooks up to the, what I think is the final plug. You know I'm a completist. You know I couldn't not film this bit. It is that plug, that connector, let's call it that. It's the only wire in the other back panel, or side panel, although how can a circle have a side? We're plugging that in to that. I almost forgot, I've made my own modification. Basically, it did say tie this great big thick wire, which you can barely see, to the frame, but when I look at it, there's nothing that I can see that it's getting in the way of, and there's nothing I can see that it's going to get in the way of it, because nothing else is going inside. I've used my last cable tie for something else. What I've used it for is that, because a very long time ago, when you're making the housing for the lightsaber, you're actually supposed to put this wire down the end of that tube, down the outside of that, which I did not do, because back at the time, I think I even said it, I don't think it matters where the wire goes, as long as it's secured. Big mistake, because when the head turns, it was catching on the metal. So, although it still catches a bit, I can't see that that's ever avoidable, because there's a thick piece of, I think that's actually the connection that pokes out. So you don't want to flatten that. That would be the only way of it clearing the metal, which is a bit of a shame, but hopefully I'll never notice that once it's all closed up. Maybe I will, who knows. But that's my last use of the last cable tie that was supplied. This is looking great. I've finally clamped the last panel into place. I've not screwed it in yet, as per your advice, thank you Chris. But now I just have to sit around and wait, because my batteries are all charging up to capacity. So I'm going to have a fresh cream meringue, a cup of tea to celebrate, even though I've still got to pop the lightsaber in the top. But so far, so good. Has some extremely awkward moments right up until the end. It's waiting to be powered up. So I'll see you when the batteries are charged. Okay, finally I'm back. This is actually the next night. I had to wait for all my batteries to charge, and they've finally finished. I only hope that the earlier ones haven't lost too much charge in the meantime while I was waiting for the others, because of course you can only do one at a time, which is slightly awkward because they do take a while. The next part is opening that and putting a little sticker on, as soon as I can find the little sticker. Okay, I've found the sticker and we're putting it on the inside of this, just above the hinge. I love the way it says stick it just above the hinge, then close the door, as if something is suddenly going to happen if you don't shut the door on it. Anyway, that's gone on. Oh, look at my lining up skills there. I'm quite impressed, considering how long I've been up today. There we go, nice and smooth. Hey, close the door, just in case. I don't know what. That's that done. And next, you need to open his little flap. And let me tell you, that was easier said than done. I guess it had got so used to being closed, didn't want to open again. And then you're putting the lightsaber in the top. Now I know, in case Chris is remembering, I did put some of this on the wrong way round. I think it was up that end. But do you know what? I don't care. It's fine by me. Oh, went all the way down. Okay, that's that done. And now, finally, it's time to grab the battery box out of there and put all my lovely green weird batteries in. My god, that was harder than it should have been. You didn't have to hammer those down into the tray. So, now that's done, let's put this battery cover on, if I can ever get it back on again. I must admit, it was very hard to get to the top screw there. But I did, that's all that counts. Just had to pull, you know, half the main wiring out. No, not really. So let me get this back on and we'll see what's next. Okay, wasn't that tremendous fun? If only you could have been there to see me struggling to get the battery box back in and then struggling to get the back panel back on. Next, we have to connect the power cord up to the underneath and switch it on for a few seconds, which will do something highly technical to the battery box, and then we'll be ready to go. This is making me nervous, but anyway, let's do this. Alright, this is it. This is the culmination of over 2 years' work. I'm going to press the button, and if nothing happens, I'm basically going to edit this bit out, and you'll never see it. Or hear me wailing in confusion. Okay. If I press this, it's supposed to jerk forward for about 2 centimeters. And if nothing happens, I've done it all wrong. Oh my god. Does that mean it's worked? Speak to me. I think I've done it. But why is that not lighting up? That would be nice. You can't actually tell, but that's purpley. That's not blue, how it looks on the screen. But I like it. Now I don't know what to do next. Let me have a look. Should we call this a failure? Look, it doesn't make it up. It does, but, you know, not how it should. Close. Had to do that manually. That's quite tragic, but I'm not too upset about that. Maybe I can loosen something in there, who knows. I haven't actually screwed the front and back band. Whoa! Stop. Stop. Who said you could go anywhere? Stop! Oh my god. That thing's trying to escape. Stop. No! Oh my god, he's trying to attack me. Okay, I don't know quite how disjointed this is going to look. Probably very. But I'm going to finally screw the panels into place. I've finally got this to close. This side was the hardest because the wire from the back panel kept getting trapped in between there, which is really annoying. What they should have done is made a hook somewhere around the back of that panel that you could hook the wire around. That would have been perfect. But as it was, you had to just hope for the best and try and keep shoving it back in there, which is not ideal, but there you go. Anyway, in the final few parts, I will be screwing these together and then plugging it all up with these last little rubber stops that you get, which will hopefully make it look very nice and tidy. All screwed in nicely. I've actually done this side first when the instructions say to do the other side first, but they're more or less exactly the same, so it really makes no odds which side you do first. Now for these plugs, and they're calling these short ones, they're calling A, these normal shaped stoppers they're calling B, and these slanted ones they're calling C. So what you need first is the A plugs, and they're going at the top. And then for these two, you need the normal plugs, B. I have to say, they look 5 times better than the ones at the top. I can barely see them, even when I'm looking at it off camera. Okay, maybe I just didn't put the top ones in at the right angle. It's always a possibility. Okay, and the C plugs, those long, weird shaped ones, they go all in the power pack, which is the same side that I just showed you. Yeah, again, not so convinced by those. It's a bit like when you build a wardrobe or some drawers and you've screwed it all together, and then you get these little plugs that you put in and you think to yourself, yeah, I can still tell, but as I say, it does look a lot better than if they were left out. Okay, next we are screwing in the bottom and the top, or rather the top and then the bottom. I'm guessing the order is the same way round, but in any case, please don't be angry that I've done it the wrong way round, because it's exactly the same deal either side, so it does not matter which way round you do it. Both ends are now screwed in. I can definitely see why they say to start with the front one, because that's already I think attached to the main metal frame. This one isn't, of course, so when you put this one on, when you screw this one in, it really draws the two halves together nicely. And there we go, once again, ones at the bottom, a hell of a lot better than the ones at the top, which you can't even see that one. There you go. Anyway, that is it. So, it's completely finished. Thanks for watching, bye. No, I'm joking. I'm going to test a few little things with the app now. Let's get this thing turned on. I actually did record an ending to this video already, but there's a couple of major things I missed out. So I'm going to re-record the whole thing. There he is, all fired up. That light's purple, by the way, not blue. It's quite strange. Yeah, I know. Don't move forward. I bet he's going to move forward. Testing out the talking. Whatever that means. That's not a good one. Did you ever hear him do that in the film? Classic. That one I know. That one I definitely know. Ah, that's on Tatooine. That one I like. That one I know. And that one. How can you tell when R2 is upset? I should turn all the LCD on so you can see. That's the one at the back that you can't see. I don't know why they haven't that as an option to turn. I guess it's to prolong the life of that LCD, maybe. Patrol. I'm definitely not going to press patrol. Arms. There we go. Talk. No. Not right now. Fine head movements. I'm not sure why you'd want to move it that slowly, but you can. I love that rear one. And the long one, if I can ever get around to it. There we go. That does look very cool. And of course the hologram. Let's try those. Okay, we're going to get down with R2, and I'm doing this in the dark because that's the only way it makes sense, because you couldn't really see much otherwise. So, here's one.
Kenobi, you're my only hope. Help me
And here's two.
As a token of my goodwill, I present to you a gift. These two droids. Both are hardworking and will serve you well.
How cool is that? I never know quite what's going to happen when I start filming this thing, because it suddenly starts moving forward unexpectedly. Now that R2 is having a little sleep, I'm going to finish off and say it's been a long 2 years. It has not always been easy. It has sometimes been very stressful. My long delay was because I lacked the confidence to just go for it and get the batteries, because that was the hardest part for me, I think, because it does seem to be a minefield out there of rubbish batteries. But so far so good with these. It's quite hard to tell, I guess, so early on. Now, two main things that I forgot to mention last time. Number one, this supplied screwdriver, Mr. Chris, who has been kind enough to watch all of my videos, this is still perfectly decent. I don't know what you're talking about that it's worn out, because that's not worn out at all. I can still use that, and I was using it to tighten up the very last screws. It's not great in the sense that it's not magnetized, but for finishing off, to really tighten them properly, this one is better than my Phillips one. No, my Stanley one that I bought, which is magnetized. So that's handy for all that stuff, of course, but no, for tightening, this one is the best that they give you. I'm impressed with that screwdriver. So that's one thing, it's held up the entire 100 parts. I'm lowering this so I'm closer to the microphone. The second thing is, to all those people that are watching this that love Star Wars and love R2D2, but are thinking to themselves, okay, that looks cool, but I don't think I'd ever be able to do that myself, or I don't think I've got the patience. The instructions for this percentage, I would say 98% of them are brilliant. I hardly ever got stuck. I think there's like a handful of times that I could say, you know, like I could really say, I don't really know what you're talking about, so I'm going to have to go by the photos. The instructions are very clear and very impressive. Put it this way, how would I have finished this without them if they weren't that good? And the other thing, I suppose, for a lot of people is the price. Yes, you can get ones that are a little bit smaller than this in the shops for a lot cheaper that this costs altogether, but they don't do as much. Most of this is just sealed off. I think that includes the app controlled one that you can buy that's going around a few years ago. Yeah, this does a lot more, and I certainly doubt that that would be projecting holograms. So this one from DeAgostini is, as far as I can see, the one that does the most out of anything else that you can buy. And it's not only that, it's the sense of you've built something from literally nothing. From my very first part, doing that little circle, LED circle bit, screwing those little black screws in, the first of thousands of black screws, not thousands, hundreds. That in itself, the sense of achievement that you get building something from nothing is, I don't know how to describe it. It just makes you really proud and gives you a really big sense of achievement. Certainly does me, because I cannot do electronics. I can build a PC, but electronics, no. Building this has given me big confidence. Well, not in a soldering kind of sense of electronics, but the fact that, you know, this is controlled by Wi-Fi, so I've built a Wi-Fi device. That's something quite special, I think. And all the LEDs that light up on it, that's something I never imagined that I'd be doing. So if you're in any doubt, and if you're thinking of going for this, I would say yes, definitely go for it. Breaking it down over 2 years, that does help a lot. And I don't think I'd ever buy the complete set that you can get now. So maybe I've inspired one single person on the internet, and if I have, that would be enough for me. To everyone else, to all my subscribers, I thank you very much. I don't know why you've subscribed. Feel free to tell me. Thank you to all of those who've been following along and commenting and advising. I got there in the end. Maybe you never thought I would. So did I sometimes. But I have. It's been a long 2 years, but now it has come to an end. There is very little point also in showing you the R2D2 view of things, because that would involve essentially showing you all round my flat, which is not really something I'm comfortable doing. If anyone out there can answer me exactly why we had to replace the main lens, I would love to know, because I have no idea. There was no reason given in the magazine. It just said, take the old lens out and replace it with this one. Who knows? But I'd love to know. Anyway, thank you once again for watching, and I will see you next time.